to Webb Weekly Live, post-election edition, Steph.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm tired.
I bet you are. You were up late last night.
I think I finally got some sleep about 4:30 in the morning and back up and out of here early to get our show going. And
That's way more dedication than what I have.
what an amazing night. The greatest voter turnout in American history yesterday. The American people, we the people, spoke. And Donald Trump is the next president of the United States.
That's what I hear.
And it was an unbelievable night as I watched it unfold. I mean, let's be honest, most people thought Hillary Clinton was going to be elected.
Absolutely.
All the mainstream media, she was ahead in all the polls. And I actually said yesterday, boy, I just have a feeling. And I shared that a little bit, and little did I know. And I guess my feeling came as I talked to Americans and as I talked to citizens, and obviously we're in a heavily Republican part of the country, but I mean, people were just flat out fed up with both parties. Yeah. And I come back to, and I write it every time, and they both eat at the trough of the American taxpayer and get rich and get fat on gridlock. And Donald Trump made it as far as he did because he offered an alternative. And little did I know, or the American people know, or the American press obviously know, that it wasn't just one part of America. And I hate as they were segregating America yesterday, white America, black America, red America. We're Americans. It was all the Americans that came together to voice their outrage against what's going on in government and elected Donald Trump. And that was obvious. And he had the greatest political movement in history to come from off the grid and not being a politician to winning the presidential election is just amazing. Along the way, what is amazing is how he put Americans back in a mindset that we are going to go out and vote. We do care about our country. We don't like what's happening. And if we knew the exact numbers, which I don't believe polls, I think it was the Democrats that crossed over. I think it was the undecided voters. And I think it was the new voters that got the man elected. Because that was the only number that nobody could predict, that intangible number of who's voting from the other side, who's voting for the first time. What's your take on that?
Yeah, listen, I won't claim to be a Trump supporter. There's a lot of who he is as a person and his policies that I don't agree with. But
as did I. I took him to task. Rule number one of Jim Webb, whether we're coaching, whether we're doing Webb Weekly, is be a gentleman, and that would drive me nuts about him.
But I think the most important thing that we need to remember right now is to not let this become a further division in our country.
Absolutely.
And at the end of the day, if you don't like the election results, then this is the time to step forward and do something. You can go on your social media and you can rant and you can rave, but at the end of the day, it doesn't accomplish anything. Get into your local politics. Start at the local level, making changes there, and watch it spread. So.
And I think that's the greatest thing Donald Trump has showed us, is that you can get involved in our government. All these conspiracy theories that people will come out and vote if you have the message they want to hear.
Right.
And I agree with you. And I think him getting people back out of the voting booth and people back into a government is exactly what we needed. Don't want to dwell on this all day. We have a lot to cover. But a few things, as I waited till 2:30 in the morning to find out who won, and it was after 2:30, one of the most amazing things played out in front of me. The voters of the state of Pennsylvania decided who the next president was. And there's a lot of random in that, but we were up with our 20 electoral votes, and Trump needed, I think it was 16, and guess what? The state that put him over was our great state of Pennsylvania, the Keystone State, that has been, let's say, the Philadelphia Democratic movement, and very hard anymore for a Republican presidential candidate to get the state, and he did. Wonderful moment when Mike Pence when the Republicans accepted victory and they're in front of all the people, and Vice President-elect Mike Pence gets up there, and the first thing he does is thank God. You read me, I preach it. The first thing our country needs to do is put Christian Judeo values first and put God back into everything we do. And he accepts the nomination and is in tears, very moving. With this humble speech. But most importantly, our next president, Donald J. Trump, and it didn't matter if I watched CNN, It didn't matter if I watched MSNBC. They all described his speech as presidential, very humble, great humility. Didn't matter where you saw it, and he was. I watched him, and that's what I've been waiting for. When I wrote about that I wanted him to become more presidential after he accepted the nomination at the Republican convention, that was what I was waiting for last night, to see and hear what he did, and how he first had very nice words for Hillary Clinton, and what an ugly, dirty campaign. And he thanked her for her service to the country. He thanked her for running the tough campaign. And I thought it was very, very well done on trying to bridge what you're talking about and unify the parties.
Well, hopefully he continues that going forward and remembers his title and his status in our country and can take this step forward.
And then the next thing, and of course, Mr. Trump comes out. And it's a celebration, there's no doubt about it, but it was the most humble. It was about us. It was about him giving thanks to everybody that put him there. And to be quite honest, I don't know anybody that would have had the stones to pull off what he did. Coming out of nowhere, beating 16 Republican candidates, pulling that off last night. And he did. He surrounded himself with good people. But I think he may be the only one that could pull that off in our country, because he basically had to defeat the Republican Party, the Democratic Party, and as he said it, and I didn't want to buy it, most of the media, because they had him dead and buried. Mm-hmm. And the American people, we the people, spoke, and it was far from that. And it was just an amazing, it makes me feel proud to be an American that everybody got out and voted, and that it wasn't just politics as usual. So many elections have been politics as usual in my lifetime, presidential elections.
If nothing else, if it encourages people to go out and vote and make their voice heard, I was equally impressed, and to be perfectly honest, a little disappointed in the number of people that I saw that are my age that voted for the first time yesterday.
Yeah, and that's that Trump factor. That's the movement. Listen, you know I have a lot of problems and issues with how Donald Trump presented things and addressed things and thought he had the opportunity to win this thing by 20 points. I honestly believe Hillary Clinton wasn't going to, the only one that was going to get her elected was Donald Trump. I think any solid candidate, the American people and Democrat, Republicans saw through her. I think it was as close as it was a lot of times because of Mr. Trump. But him, like you're saying, voting for the first time. I talked to so many people that were so passionate. My son Hunter, I mean, which makes you proud as a father, that you've instilled values. But I've talked to so many people that have taken their children to the voting booth for the first time. It was just an amazing, it's when I think of God Bless America, what it should be. And I got to leave with Mr. Trump came on with humility and gave the most presidential speech I've heard as far as accepting the results of an election. And the people that he has with him, he can literally put together. And I always said this, that he is a manager of business and a manager of people, whether it be Mr. Giuliani, Newt Gingrich. I mean, you go right down the list. Dr. Ben Carson, who I love, who when this whole thing started to play out, I really thought Dr. Ben Carson was the most educated and could provide us the greatest chance of change. You remember me writing that way back. And unfortunately for Mr. Carson, you have to have some political cloth cut too. And he didn't have that, but he's going to be part of this. The dream team Mr. Trump can put together if done right. And why he can do it is because he doesn't have ties to the Republican Party. He doesn't have ties to the Democratic Party. He doesn't know anybody anything. And I know you might differ with me on that a little bit, but no president, usually when a president gets elected, they owe so many people because of all the money. He literally did put up the bread to become president. And just a great event in American history last night. And I didn't want to spend so much time on it. And then I got to talk about when he starts talking about how we're going to change our country. And what the most important things are. And obviously unity is the most important thing. We need to come together for the greatness of our country. But then I got a little FDR last night from him. And when the first thing he wants to address and really make great is our infrastructure again. And you know what drives me nuts, what's happened with our infrastructure. And putting Americans back to work together. But I sort of, got a feeling, that our country is not at a whole lot different point than when FDR needed to stimulate the economy. And there's no greater way to stimulate the economy than start building bridges, roads.
Right.
And it puts Americans to work, and there's ways to do it that it doesn't drain the bank. And just a lot of good stuff came out of that last night. And what was your final take on it? And be honest, I never want...
Well, like I said, I have my concerns. As a man, Donald Trump is not necessarily the person that I want leading. I have concerns about that, and I think they're legitimate concerns.
And I think there's a lot of women. I think there were a lot of people that voted for him as the lesser of two evils. Let's be honest.
Yeah, and I think that's a sad state of affairs in itself.
You and I.
But I think going forward, like you said, this is apparently what the American people want. So we move forward, and we hope that he can be the president that this country deserves.
Absolutely, and go ahead.
And I wish him the best of luck. And at this point, you've got a Republican all across the board now. So you've got no excuses. Get it done. You claim that you can get it done, and this is what you need.
What did I always tell you about that?
Well,
I always told Steph that scares the heck out of me. You have one party in complete control, and the Republican Party better step up now and put party politics aside. You have control of the House, Senate, and the executive branch of government. The time is now to put beside political differences and do what's right for the American people.
Yeah.
The same with the Democratic Party. The parties need to unite. I think you have a leader that is more moderate than anything, and that is more concerned about the American people and our country as a whole than probably any leader we've had in the recent past. But now, the gridlock can't continue. It has to end, and they need to go to work for the American people. Yeah. And I think we'll let that at that.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So what do we have, Steph?
Well, let's move on to something more important.
You know what we probably better do is we take a commercial break for the good people down at Fairfield Auto Group. A lot of great deals on trucks, Explorers. Great time of the year to save some money. We'll be
over 30 years, one family of dealerships has grown to include 14 brands at 8 locations on an unyielding commitment to hometown values and unrivaled service, selection, and customer satisfaction for 30 years. Fairfield. For fair deals. You're gonna love us.
And we're back, and it's time to get down to business, and we're going to talk about something even more important than the election.
All right.
And that's Veterans Day.
Veterans Day.
Veterans Day is on Friday, and we have a story from Lou about a brigadier general from Williamsport, Brigadier General George Dodd, and his exemplary military career. It's always nice to put some focus on some local veterans throughout Lycoming County history.
Absolutely. And again, we can't give our veterans enough thanks.
Absolutely.
The elections that occur, the ball games, everything that occurs. I think sometimes we've grown away. We're so blessed that we forget about that it's earned with our military.
Absolutely.
Our country was founded with a military. Our country is kept free with a military. And unfortunately, lives are lost, lives are altered, and lives have changed. So thank you to all our veterans. Thank you for everything that you've done to secure an election like last night.
And the sacrifices you have made, there's just not a big enough thank you for that. And also, Lou also has a story this week about all of the great services that Veterans Affairs offers. So if you're in need of veteran services, Lou's got the starting point for you. So be sure to check out his story there. I also want to take a minute to welcome back Mindy Wenzel, Planet
Wonderful.
Mom. She's been dealing with some family issues of her own and took some time off of writing, but she's back and she's got a little bit of an update for us. And then on the entertainment side of things, the Fall into the Blues event is this weekend at the Genetti. Doors open at 3:30 and the show starts at 4. A lot of great bands playing this weekend, so be sure to get out there and check that out.
Always a great event, and seems to get bigger every year.
It does. It gets bigger every year, and Bill Van Campen does a fantastic job keeping everything organized and put together.
So what are we giving away?
We're giving away, I have a $25 gift card to Dolly's Diner, and I
Wonderful.
hear that you have.
We're going to do a giveaway also.
All right. So my trivia question in regards to Veterans Day, it's what year did Veterans Day become a national holiday? What year did Veterans Day become a national holiday? Now, this is not, I'll give you a hint here, not when Veterans Day was established, but when did it become a national holiday? Answer below. First person to answer wins. Just a reminder that if you've won something from us in the last 30 days, leave it for someone else.
You're high tech, and I'm easy. So we'll go with the first person to call in. $25 gift card to Rivals. We did a show the other day. If you haven't watched it,
Yeah, be sure to check that out because you guys did a fantastic job.
Yeah,
with the whole group of you. It was nice to see you guys all together.
with our great success of our local football teams, high school wise, we had a playoff preview, championship preview, and we had the local coaches there, Coach Cruz, Coach Eisworth, all the coaches that are still playing on, and it went real well. So
It sounds like we've got another exciting Friday night ahead of us, though.
we do. My question's going to be very simple.
Okay.
Very simple. As far as the election process last night, I want to know the total number of electoral votes required to become president of the United States. That gets lost in a lot of things. It's a magic number if you run for president. So that's simple. Just call me, call in the office, let us know what that number is, and you get to go to Rivals for some great food. So what do we got up next?
I believe that we took a trip.
Earlier in the week, we were very fortunate to get out. It was a beautiful day, and we went up to Williamsport Area High School. And we sat down with Principal Brandon Pardoe and Athletic Director Sean McCann and Coach Chuck Cruz.
Okay.
I want to play for him. He excites me about playing football. But it was more than football, and I'll let you talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, we sat down with Principal Pardoe and had a great conversation about all of the great things that are happening at the high school and within the school district. Right now, there's a lot of focus on football, and that's fantastic. The Millionaires are having a fantastic year, and they deserve all the credit for that, but that's not the only thing going on at the high school and in the school district, so we went up to chat about that. So be sure to check that out.
And across the board, the soccer teams have district crown. I mean, a lot of athletic focus.
Yeah.
But what a great place. Reflecting back, and maybe we should do, but anyway, we're very well done job up there, Steph.
Yeah.
So I think people enjoy watching that. So.
Yeah. So let's go to that then.
And welcome back, and we're up on the hill at Williamsport High School, and we're in the principal's office, Mr. Brandon Pardoe. How you doing?
Doing well today.
And Steph and I are glad to be up here.
Morning. Yeah, I spent my entire life, avoiding the principal's office, and here I am, somehow back.
Well, we try to break down stereotypes all the time. It's just not a bad thing to come to the principal's office.
Absolutely.
And I know we were running a little late, and that's my fault, but I never made it to school in time either. So anyway, how are you doing?
Doing well, doing great.
Good, fantastic things happening up on the hill here, and everybody thinks about the athletic teams, the soccer team, the football team. We came up here today, and I'm going to let Steph start it out, and she's more of the academia type than I am, so.
Well, I hear you guys have some good news academics-wise, that you guys did very well in your school performance profile. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what that is and how you graded on it?
Sure. The school performance profile is really how schools are measured by the state of Pennsylvania and the Pennsylvania Department of Education. They take into many factors. Test scores is one. Growth on test scores is a component of that. College readiness. Are we preparing students to go to college? Are we preparing students to go to the workforce? Graduation rate, attendance rate. There's just many avenues and factors that get weighed in upon that score. And our score from last year was an 88.2, and which ranks us first in the county in our area as far as high schools are concerned.
That's amazing. So what do you think it is that sets Williamsport High School apart from any other school in the area?
I think it's really just the opportunity. Due to our size, we have 1,500 students that attend school here. really because of that is that we're able to offer a number of programs and programming. We are one of the few comprehensive high schools in our area where students can get career and technical education and your traditional academics, college prep types of courses that are available to students under one roof. So, and that's our goal. We have 3 things that we want to do for our students. 1, prepare them for the workforce. 2, prepare them for the military if they choose to do that. And certainly prepare them to go on to further education, whether it be a 2-year, 4-year college.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm glad to hear that, it's sometimes, bigger schools get a less than great reputation. There's concerns about class sizes and attention to students, and it's nice to see that some of those stereotypes are being disbarred around here, and that you guys are providing such a great education to the students.
Yeah,
here.
Williamsport Area High School is about opportunity. The opportunity is here, and we'll help you take advantage of those opportunities that are afforded to you.
So what else? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
And the military is obviously near and dear to my heart, and I know of all the opportunities, but here we are, Veterans Day coming up. Tell us about Williamsport High School and the involvement with the military and the programs.
Well, we have just a great relationship with our local recruiters of them coming into this school. They provide services for us. We've used them in a number of capacities by exposing our kids to the military. We really spend time working with our kids for them to understand that it's just not about, war or anything along those lines. It's about career technical training that they can get by serving their country.
Absolutely.
And then earning a trade that they can apply with veteran status once they get out of the military.
And I know a high number of students choose to do that upon graduating from Williamsport High School, and it's a credit to the program and what you're doing. And Steph touched on a lot of that, the academic, but explain in a number. Is there a number of different courses or classes that you can put it into a nutshell that are offered up here, different programs?
Sure. Basically, we have a partnership with many high schools do in the area with Pennsylvania College of Technology. We offer about 12 dual enrollment courses that kids can earn college credit, as well as the programs that are available to us. Our career and technical education program, we have 3 levels that are available to students in our 15 plus different programs, anywhere from construction trades to culinary arts to welding. We have it right here under one roof. And then the other aspect of it too is just our commitment to the arts. We're able to provide, music education, art education. We have a great partnership with First Friday where our kids are able to get downtown, and a community works arts display that is available. And our music program, as you know, second to none.
You're fantastic in the marching band, but the strings program, it's still full blown?
Strings, band, choral, we provide those opportunities to our students if they choose to pursue them.
Fantastic.
And I'm glad to hear about the development for not just going to college, but going out into the workforce. There's so much of a stigma now that if you don't go the college route and you don't walk away with your 4-year liberal arts education, that you're somehow not going to be able to succeed in the world. And that's really just not the case. And there are a lot of job opportunities available for the more technical jobs, and it's nice to see that you guys are helping to prepare the students for that if that's where they want to go also.
Absolutely. Our partnerships that we have with local businesses or companies that we have in the area, they basically just want kids that are going to show up regularly, be on time, and they'll do the training for them to help them earn a sustainable wage.
That's fantastic to hear. So.
And so now we'll flip it over to all the great improvements. You know where I'm going, right? On the athletic facilities.
Sure.
STA Stadium. Give us a brief overview of that project, and obviously it's completed and where we're at.
Yeah, our Return to Glory campaign was certainly a point of emphasis that we've had over the last course of the several years that we've had. Not only that, but just the improvements that we've made at the high school.
Oh, absolutely.
The new high school is not the new high school any longer.
No.
It was here for 45 years before we touched it with regard to upgrades and what have you. And then the same thing can be said with the field, Return to Glory. We have an 8-lane track.
Beautiful track.
The turf field is outstanding. And a thing that people really don't think about is what allowed us to implement that campaign and make it come to fruition was the generous donation of the Balls Mill Soccer Complex. So that, combined with everything else, allowed us to afford and move the project forward.
Yeah, and I didn't even give that a thought, but that's a great point to make. Back to the school, the gymnasium's got a facelift. Everything's looking pretty good as I come up here. I mean, I get to walk the halls every once in a while, and the weight room. Oh my goodness! Fantastic.
Rivals many college weight rooms.
Absolutely does.
And it's used not just for athletics, but it's a vital component of our health and physical education curriculum.
Well, and even on your way up the hill, the project that was done at the middle school is amazing. Also, we covered that, but a lot of work was done there too. It's really nice to see.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, we got to move on here, and we got to take a commercial break. But we're going to come back with Athletic Director Sean McCann and new head football. I shouldn't say new. He's the head football coach now. We can take the new tag off.
That's right.
He hasn't gone anywhere either.
No.
Football coach Chuck Cruz, and we thank you for your time.
Great. Thanks for having me.
We'll be right back.
Rennie Roderhummel, Allstate Insurance. It's all about family, all about service. Jessica Steinbacher, you're here a lot of years as the office manager. Who are the other ladies that are right here with you?
Well, off to my left is Sheila Hunter. She's been with us about 10 years now. She's a customer service representative. And this is Becca Berry. She's our front desk go-to person. And they're both integral parts of our everyday flow here at the office.
You have a lot of benefits here at Rennie Roderhummel, Allstate. One is the drive-in claim center. Explain that to me.
Yes, we have an adjuster here twice a week that will actually inspect the damage to your vehicle locally, conveniently for you.
And what about claim satisfaction guarantee?
If you are in any way dissatisfied with the way Allstate handled your claim, we will reimburse you your 6-month premium on that vehicle the claim occurred.
Those are some of the great benefits. Rennie Roderhummel, Allstate Insurance.
And we're back, and I got Athletic Director Sean McCann, and I got Head Football Coach Chuck Cruz. Welcome, gentlemen.
Yeah, thanks. Nice to have you up here.
Indeed. Hey, it's good to be here this afternoon. Hey, let's get right into it. Well over a year ago, I came up here and interviewed Coach Cruz, and everything was a little new and where we were going, and here we are heading into a district championship game against Delaware Valley. The excitement created is unbelievable, and obviously, I hired the right guy.
Yeah, we did. We're real proud of Coach Cruz. I mean, he's done a nice job. He's what we were looking for in that football coach, that leader to bring the kids together. I think right now the kids will run through a wall for him, and it's exciting to see that.
And absolutely, when I first met him, that was the first thing, the impression I got is you got the right guy. Yeah. And me having a background to living here my whole life and knowing a little more hopefully than the average bear thought, right guy, right time. Yeah. And it's played out that way, Coach Cruz. And just give us a quick overview, obviously coming into the program, but how coming into your second season here, how you knew there were big things ahead, a lot of wood to be chopped, and where you went and where you're at.
Well, the commitment in the off season is what really tipped myself and the rest of the coaches off that we could have something really special this year. Our senior leadership, they were at every practice, and they just pulled in the younger kids, and we just worked and worked and worked. And it wasn't just us. I mean, we had workouts with Babe Mayer, with some of our linemen, and people talk about how fast we are. Well, Mrs. Mary Louise Mazzani, she's a big part of our speed component there. And it was just, I just feel like it was just, the timing was going to happen. Whether it was me, it could have been anybody else. Yeah. But I think this year was just our year.
Well, Maz is definitely, when it comes to speed and quickness, she does a wonderful job with the kids. And but you're too modest, and I've learned that about you. The kids truly love playing for you, and the emotion you show. You remind me a lot of time of Coach Tomlin of the Steelers. You're stoic, you're reserved, but man, when it's time to let it loose, you let it loose.
Oh, just watch me along the sideline of Del Val breaks along one this weekend, then we'll see how much time I'm in.
No, well, he does the same thing though. He'll be real serious, and the next thing you know, I don't know if he chest bumped anybody, but he probably does when we're.
Well,
So-
we'll have to compare our verticals. Tomlin, if you're watching, I challenge you to a vertical competition.
That would be fantastic. I'd enjoy it. We could
Yeah,
probably
that
raise a
would
lot,
be good. That would
lot
be
of
good to
money to
watch,
get people to
yeah.
watch. Hey, tell me about not just football, but there's great things happen with the cross country program, with the soccer program, with everything up here. So.
It has. It's been a great fall, and a lot of it, Mr. Pardoe was talking about before, just things coming together, the facility improvements, the coaches working hard, the kids making the commitment to put the time in. But yeah, just last week our girls soccer program won their first ever district title.
And that's
we started
fantastic.
girls soccer. And,
Congratulations to the girls soccer program, and I think we're going to try to do something in our Web Kids segment, not this week, but the following week with that. So.
Right. And the boys captured their first in over 20 years last week, too. Girls tennis won a district championship. We had a singles player, Amanda Southard, won the singles championship. Had one of our boys, Tyler Holcomb, advanced to the state cross-country meet. So, yeah, it has been a great fall for all of our teams. Our cheerleaders are getting ready for their district competition coming up soon. And, yeah, the kids are putting a lot of time in the weight room and the academics, and things are just coming together really well this year for us.
And you're the athletic director. You get to see all the sports, all the people, all the faces. But sometimes, and Coach Cruz, I'm guilty of it, we get football on the brain, and we forget about all the other things.
Sure.
And what amazes me is the quality of kids, not just the championships you're winning and what's going on, but the kids up here, fantastic gentlemen and ladies, and all the different sports. And you want to touch on that quickly?
Sure, and it starts with the coaches. I mean, when we're looking for coaches, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for role models, leaders. They're gonna be able to teach the kids how to handle themselves in situations, good and bad.
Sure.
Because things aren't always going to go their way. But then placing the emphasis on academics, because we do want the kids to graduate and be able to go out in the world and have a sustainable position that way. But yeah, it's been, it takes a lot of work, takes a lot of time and effort, but it's a group. I mean, the principals, I think every principal that we have here has been a coach.
Yeah.
Out of the 5 principals. So they realize the value of athletics and are working with kids on a daily basis to make sure they're doing what they're doing in the classroom, make sure they're doing what they're doing in the weight room. We've got a strength coach now down in the weight room that's working with the kids. So when the trainers are out on the field, if we got an injured football player, instead of standing on the sideline, he's in there doing some cardio work or doing some upper body work if he's got an injury. So just putting all those pieces of the program together, again, have just allowed us to really excel this year, and we hope to be able to sustain it in the future.
Fantastic. And the good news that I got to talk about, Coach Cruz, in Webb Weekly Live, Cable Sports Productions, Gary Chrisman, and PA Sports Live, we're going to bring the District 4A Championship game live, Webb Weekly Live. You can find it to every household that can't be up here. To our servicemen and women that might want to watch the game across the world, to any Millionaire fans anywhere, we're going to have the option for that game. And it wasn't cheap, but we won't get into that. But it is my honor to be able to do that. I think it's a fantastic thing, and I think it's probably the biggest sporting event when I was thinking back in 30 years for Williamsport Area High School. Coach Cruz, tell me about Del Val. I mean, it's a great high school. If it wasn't a high school matchup, I'd say it was a Division III playoff game because there's so much talent on both teams.
Well, going back to October 8th, it was probably the most exciting high school game I've ever had the opportunity to be a part of. So if nothing else, I'm expecting another exciting game. Del Val, take me out, class, coaching staff, the boys really played the game in the way in which you're supposed to play high school sports, So I wish it could be a situation where we could sit here and be like, oh, we hate these guys, don't like. No, they were really class, they played, and the better team won that day. But the question is Friday. Who's going to be the better team on Friday? And I'd like to thank you for making a point of, with the live stream, it's for those Millionaire fans who cannot be at the game.
Absolutely. We want the stadium packed.
Indeed.
No, we don't want them packed. We want people outside the fence like it used to be over in the hill. When I come watch Morris Brick Braggs run up and down the field with my father, we stood outside that fence a lot of times looking down because there was nowhere to get in. That's what we want. We want everybody listening. We want you here. But if you can't be here, we got an option. So.
Yeah, that's great.
Well, that's the thing, we want those stories to be. I remember when I went and I saw Isaiah Hankins play with my dad, or I saw Trayson Potts with my dad, I saw Elliott Walker with my dad. That's what we want. But for those fans, and there's a lot of us on Facebook who's reached out to me, and my inbox is blowing up. Everybody has been very supportive, and we're trying to represent football history here in a positive way. We just earned our 700th victory as a program with the win against Hazleton, and we're looking to add on to that, double, maybe triple it. I probably won't see the double or the triple, but, we would like to just keep growing and keep growing and keep growing.
Well, and if you build it, they will come. And when the new field project, I was amazed, and when I met Coach Cruz, I thought, hey, that's happening. You're getting those kids back out of the hallways. You're getting those athletes back on the football, and there's more of them. And the way I see this program, Coach, these kids down there in third, fourth grade playing millionaire junior football, they're seeing this success now, and they're chomping at the bit. And if you build it, they're going to come, and you're going to build. I have no doubt that you're going to build a program up here for the millionaires that is going to be what it should have been for years and years and years. And tip of the cap for you for bringing them in, but not putting any pressure on you. Not putting any pressure on. But hey. Back to and we got to wrap it up here, unfortunately, because I could talk to you guys all day. The one message I want to get out and to everybody, I know Mr. Pardoe, he's a friend of, all three of these gentlemen are good personal friends, and they don't come any finer. And the one thing I admire is you put making young men, and in your case, young women, because you do both, it's more important to develop young men and young women than it is athletes. And I admire that up here and what's going on, and tip of my cap to you on that. And I'll be here with Hunter, unfortunately. Hunter will be with me, and it'll be like my dad bringing me up to a Williamsport football game. And we look forward to it, Coach. And we got to wrap it up here because school's going to be out. But you want to add anything, Sean?
No, we appreciate the support. You guys said, I know you guys have put a lot of time and effort into the program this year and going out and getting sponsors and helping broadcast all 10 of our games and trying to get the District 2 and the PIA to realize the value of that. It gets frustrating at times, but no, you guys have done great. I mean,
Thanks.
The Berwick game was 27,000 people live view. I mean, that's amazing. And I do the same thing. You hear about it on Facebook. We're able to share with people all around the country, all around the world, to be able to see what's going on here. And
Coach, if you can't get excited about high school football in Pennsylvania, if you can't get excited about the Berwick-Williamsport matchup, I mean, it's very important. Coach Cruz, you want to say anything in wrapping it up?
Thank you. See you on Friday night.
Come out and see the Millionaires, and I'm going to leave it with one thing. I'm hoping that we figure out a way to cover you guys next week with the few dollars we're putting out this week. But Coach Cruz, I'll tell you, we're committed to following you guys all the way through. So I just want you to know that, and Sean. And I guess we better get out of here. The school bell's going to ring, and we'll move on to our next commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Over 30 years, one family of dealerships has grown to include 14 brands at 8 locations on an unyielding commitment to hometown values and unrivaled service, selection, and customer satisfaction for 30 years. Fairfield. For fair deals. You're gonna love us.
Hello, I'm Juliana from Webb Kids. This week I have Isabel Sager and Quinn Surfoss with me. Hello, how are you doing?
Hi, Juliana.
Hello.
So, Isabel and Quinn won District 4 championships in cross country. Tell us about the work that goes into winning a gold medal.
It's definitely a lot of mileage, a lot of hills, just a lot of hard running. It's a lot of time that you spend doing the work, but in the end it's all worth it because when you work, you're thinking about winning, you're thinking about the district title, you're thinking about how bad you want it, so it's all worth it in the end.
And it's a lot of dedication off of regular season, and our coach helps with us with that by writing up workouts during the week and giving to them prior and giving us workouts over the summer so then we can get better over the summer as well.
How far is a race?
It's a 5K, which is about 3.1 miles.
So you both went to the state championships, right?
Correct.
Mm-hmm, correct.
Where was it held at?
It was at Hershey, Pennsylvania.
How did you guys do in the races?
I placed 16th out of 217, and my time was around 1950.
I placed 10th out of 238, and my time was about 16:48.
What grade are you guys in?
I am a sophomore.
And I'm a junior.
Do you have any plans for after graduation?
I'm definitely planning on attending college. I definitely would like to run in college. Like to possibly earn a scholarship and just see where the future takes me.
I would like to attend college as well and run in college. Maybe get a scholarship to help me out with the bills and stuff, of college, and get a degree.
Is there anyone you would like to give a shout out to for helping you?
I'd like to thank my family, my siblings. My siblings have been really supportive. I really like talking to them about running. They look up to me, so I just like to thank them a lot.
Yeah, I would like to thank my parents because they're very dedicated parents. They drive me to practice and they tell me when to go and practice when I really don't want to, and it helps a lot because it shows me that sometimes you may not want to do something, but you have to do it anyways in order to get better, and you see good outcomes.
Well, thank you for coming on Webb Kids with me.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
I appreciated it. Good luck in the future. Peace. Back to you, Jimmy.
Peace.
And congratulations to Quinn and Isabel on their district cross-country championships. And Juliana, as always, did a great job.
Yeah, you can't beat that little girl.
And some difficult room to play at Joe's Pizza. A lot going on at Joe's Pizza this week when we were out there. And a little baby crying in the background. A lot of fun. And there's no truth to the rumor that I just go there because I like to eat for free. That's not true why we do our show there. Well, maybe a little bit. But another great job. And I enjoyed the kids. And one thing for sure, and I got to mention Ryan Sullivan. He also went on to states for Loyalsock Township. Great year for them in cross country. So
yeah, I don't really understand people who choose to run, let alone run long distances. But more power to them, and congratulations.
Absolutely. Anything you have to wrap up the show
I think
today?
that's about it. I think we covered a lot of ground today.
Oh wow,
so.
yeah, and again, I think the most important thing is we're coming off a highly contested election, to put it nicely, right? And now it is time for Americans to come together and unite for our country and behind our president. And it's time for our politicians and for our elected party to go to work.
Yeah.
Because
work.
Talk is cheap, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And the one thing I want to say is it made me feel so good of how Americans got out and voted, and Americans made the difference in choosing the president. And as always, God bless America.